this is the first master class of Multiplication Explorers, and we are going to discuss the first week of the course. And here comes Sophia. Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Glad you made it.
Yes,
And
thank you.
so we have Amanda, Ali, and Sophia here. Ali, I know your sound haven't worked 100% before, so we can use chat here. So,
Do you have my voice?
yes. Oh, it does work. Excellent.
Yes?
Excellent. So happy to hear you.
Yes.
Welcome back,
Yes.
Sophia. You got
Sorry.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Excellent. So, so here is what we will do. We will just discuss ideas for a while, and I'll follow you, your ideas, your questions. Okay? And I have a couple discussions I have in mind, and if we have time, we'll get as well. Okay, so Amanda had an excellent question, and she was the first to appear here, so Amanda gets to go first. So can you talk about the connection again, the connectivity idea?
Well, I just felt like I wasn't able to help Melody get more out of the exercise because, I don't know, I did the things that were said, but I couldn't figure out how to make deeper connections with the math and other things because I'm not math oriented at all.
Oh, and let us introduce ourselves because it's our first meeting, I guess, just who we are and who we work with. So I'm Maria, and I'm one of the organizers of the course. My child is 16 and taking the course with me, even though we've done it a few times, but couldn't resist yet again. So just let's take turns introducing. So Amanda, can you just say a couple of words about yourself?
I'm homeschooling, and I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my 11-year-old's a girl, and my 6-year-old is a boy.
Okay. Ali, would you introduce yourself?
Yes. I studied mathematics as bachelor, and I'm interested in virtual instruction for mathematics, and I have 3 kids. But I don't have a child. Yes.
You have 3 students, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sophia, can you introduce yourself?
Hi. Yeah, my name is Sophia. I have 2 kids who's 13 and 3, and I graduated from Moscow State University with physics major and studied in US. So I'm trying to. With my first one, I was trying to inspire him with like physics and math ideas. With my little one, I hardly have any time to do anything about that. So I'm really thankful for this course to finally focus and try to do something. So it's the main thing. So I feel really underachiever in this topic. So that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for making me do something. Really nice meeting you.
I think thank you. I think we all feel like courses make us do things. It's people motivate us. I feel the same way. I want to put good ideas together and good experiences. So a course is a good way to create a book, for example. That's one of our goals. We're going to write a book. And so, Sophia, we are in the same boat here. Okay, thank you for making me do something.
Thank you.
Okay, so Amanda's question about going deeper with mathematics is really, it has to do with, well, and there are almost infinite depths there. You can go and go deeper and go deeper again, and so on and so forth. It never ends. So did you want to go deeper yourself? Were you interested?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Um,
And it's okay if the answer is no, because sometimes you don't, you get exposed.
I don't know. I don't even know if I even really thought about it. I was more just trying to manage to fit it in the day and stay on track. And I wanted to make sure that I got all of the things. Like I told you, I was back and forth with the email. Like, did I get this and that and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I mean, I think we have a fractals coloring book around here somewhere, but I couldn't find it yesterday. But I thought that I shall look again.
Would you like some printout coloring pages for fractals?
I just thought it would be something I could like add to it because I just felt like I did it and she did it and we were both kind of like, okay, so that's done. Let's move on. And I thought I'm quite sure that if I was really clever math person, I'd be able to say, well, look, now you can see this way and see that way. And I just was like, yep, I guess we're done.
Okay. So there wasn't this big sense of, okay, something new opened for me.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And although I have to say, she did say that it was not nearly as bad as she expected.
Did she expect it to be bad?
Well, because it's a math course, you know. And she did actually enjoy it, and they did go with sidewalk chalk outside and do like she did a car inside a car's wheel, and she liked that. So.
Okay. So Zara, I love your observations as a parent, because you really capture several important aspects of it, several important things here. So one thing is that need to feel your growth, your progress, right? That's something you gained a superpower, or well, I'll talk. I like superheroes a bit. So yeah. And Disney's been doing good job with the Avengers, I have to say. Okay, so you want to feel that kind of ding and grats. Congratulations, I got to the next level, now I have more power, and so on. So that's one aspect of it. But the second aspect is even feeling, it's okay. It's not bad, it's not that sort of math that makes us cringe, right?
Right.
And so these two things are, in my mind, connected, but they are very different. They are almost like stages. You have to feel maybe a couple of times that what you are doing is fine, is okay, that you won't get hurt. And then you will feel, and that's what I asked you, do you want to go deeper? Like, do you want to get a fractal superpower there? Because, it's, as we know from the hero stories, it's a journey. Takes some adventure, takes some travel time, and so on. And so it's almost like we don't always go there. Sometimes it's okay to have an experience and feel, it was okay. It was an artistic experience that we sort of enjoyed, and that we felt like doing with our friends and family. But sometimes it catches you and you want to go deeper. It's a decision. It doesn't I want to emphasize we should not always strive for that depth and superpowers. Because I think that's the problem, that people always strive to understand something formal, to learn to do something formal, to go into that formal and mastery level of mathematics in every single topic, even if they don't care for it. So let me ask you again now with some background. Would you, if that part was available, the mastery part, would you want to go there with fractals? So you did the activities, kind of explored it, was okay, sort of fun, you know, a little bit, and you didn't get to enjoy it much because of that back and forth and so on. But if we had the secret part too, that went deeper, would you want to?
Me by myself?
Maybe with kids, it's fun. It's better with kids, right? But
Yes.
for yourself too.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm not sure what the deeper part is, but it would have been interesting to see it further, I think, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, this makes me feel so good. It would make me feel good too if you said, no, I want to explore more topics. See, these two answers are okay. I could say, no, thank you, Maria. I just want to keep exploring other topics. This is okay. And another is, yes, I'd like to explore this topic deeper, to learn this topic deeper. What is kind of bad, I think, is, you know, I tried it, and let's not try anything like that again, or I don't want it. So, what do you think about your kids? Do you think your daughter would want to go deeper now that she said it's okay? Have you doubts, huh?
Well, yeah, well, it's all under the headline of something she's not enjoying right now. So, I think she probably could with the fractals. Like, I mean, I think it would be interesting enough to draw her in, you know, versus, you know, just practicing facts or things like, you know, like multiplication facts and things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me ask the second part of this question then, Amanda. Do you think your daughter would like to maybe explore more topics like that? Just try something pleasant, don't go too deep, try an activity and move on.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure which she would prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Okay, good. Good. I like to get to I don't know part with my series of questions because that's where, you know, that's where you can explore. But what I'm asking is, there are more topics in this course. Is she still open to trying more?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah. And she also knows, like, you have to do some things or you go to school.
Okay. So this is something to find out even. So
Right.
after doing, see, now you have a choice because we mailed you a few more topics, and also
Right.
there are more on the forums. So, and also we'll try to, there are some questions and some comments on the forum under fractals, which you can explore together. People posted links.
Okay.
People posted some activities, so you can, if you want to, that's something to, if you want to go deeper, that's something to pursue. Try more software, try some of those activities, basically within the same topic.
Okay.
Or another choice is, okay, let's try the next topic, because we have more. So this is something to ask your kid. It's a choice.
Okay.
Okay, and I can't wait to learn what, and now that you have this question in your mind, you can ask yourself that too.
Okay.
Okay. So Ali typed up things, so I'll move on to Ali in the order people appeared in the group. So Ali, you typed up things, and if you don't see the chat, Amanda, do you see the chat?
No.
Okay, if you mouse over the left part of your screen, where all of the Hangout, there is a chat button. It's the top one.
Oh, now I see it.
Okay, and so Ali typed while listening, typed about questions. So Ali, do you want to talk a bit about what you want to do? Or do you want me to just read and respond to this?
Yes, I mentioned that. Yes. I wanted to create an intangible multiplication exploring because of there is some math anxiety, and there are several limitations to access the internet or appropriate websites. For example, weebly.com is filtered, and I can use as a resource for kids. And so I decided to create a Viber group because they have access to it, and we can share images and videos. But yes, I know that it is not a, a right and appropriate solution, but I think that it works in chatting, and we can share our thoughts about some of the activity. And I started with that fractal hand video, and kids connected to the topic, and we could also have some problem solving on finding the levels and iterations of the multiplied of power 2, and it was very interesting for them. But I noticed that I can't go deeper to do more activity, both because of it is a Viber group and it has some limitations, and another reason is that I found that kids are more are in a very hurry and flurry situation. You know, they want some games to push the button and go forward and see the results, and when they involve in mathematical thinking, maybe they digress and they can't stick on topic more than 5 or 7 minutes.
Okay, so let me ask you some follow-up questions. Okay. You said they wanted to just chat about other things. So in that environment, can they type?
One of them, yes.
Or did they chat by voice? Do they
Yes, they
type?
can type. Yes, they can type, or they send voice.
So another question is, what can they make in this environment? Because this is a big thing with children. We need to, can they draw? Can they make something? Can they create?
They can draw something, but in a in one activity they draw it on paper and photographed and sent image. They can't create anything. They can't create something, for example, any particular activity in Viber, but they can photograph and send the images.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Did
and
they
this
like
is
that?
the lack of yes, yes, they enjoy doing this kind of activities. But when we close to mathematics concept, when we
Mm-hmm.
close to mathematical thinking, I see that the problems emerged. You know, um, and there is something interesting for me that I call it emergent behaviors because they for example one girl recorded her voice uh, he yeah she mimic an horse that are running and with her mouth he he produces sounds that it reminds me some kind of multiplication and a boy I saw that sent me a video art about making something on a thing that it is something like fractal tree and I did not ask them to send me this stuff but they did it and it was interesting for me but when I wanted uh, I wanted and I asked them to do something directly to the mathematical side of our discussions. I see that yes, they will. I see that they are not ready as much as I expected, and also, I didn't tell them that this is a maths group and there are assignments and they should do it. I try to stick on with their pace, and we only did two tasks this week
Mm-hmm.
because I must go back and repeat something and then go forward and then go back.
So it looks kind of similar questions that Amanda raised, in that
Yes,
they want to explore and they want to do this click and
yes,
progress activities, but they don't want to necessarily. So you have the answer
yes.
to my question. They don't want to go deeper into mathematics. They want to keep exploring, maybe. Okay. So the
And maybe just searching. They search
searching.
the web and find some images, nested images, spiral images, and send it in group.
Did they like that?
Yes. Yes, they
So
like that, and one of them wants me that them how to make an spiral, for example,
like
image,
that
an
spiral
iterated image.
photospiralysis, that software, right? The photospiralysis
Yes,
software. Mm-hmm.
but there is, unfortunately, there is some problems to use that website for them. I think because of that they don't know English and
Right.
they can't access to English sites. And we don't have alternative in Persian.
I think you can get
Maybe
photo,
I should make some in
right?
Persian for them.
Or maybe they can make some. Yeah, that could be a good project. Can you grab Scratch? Do you have access to Scratch or not? Scratch from MIT is a programming software. Hmm.
I don't have your voice, sorry, because of my connection. I
Test,
can't
test,
hear.
test, test. Can you hear now? Test, test.
Yes, I can. I can hear now.
There is a program called Scratch from MIT. Scratch.
Aha, Scratch. Yes,
Can you
I
get
know it.
that? I think it is in
Yes,
many languages.
I,
So maybe you can do that with them. But this is
yes.
okay. So this is what you can do. Follow what they want to do. So they want to do scavenger hunts, right? they want to go search things online. You can invite them to search particular things, like more particular, so your mathematics can come into what they are searching for. Okay, if they like to do that, if they are interested in that sort of exploration. And if they're interested in software and making things with software, you can find the platform that's available. I think Scratch and GeoGebra have been translated. So, right? So
Yes.
see if they would do
Yes.
that. This both two
I translated to GeoGebra.
What?
I can't hear.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I will type more, and I'll move to okay. Okay, so I will move to Sophia's question, and I'll respond to Ali's questions by email, so he can hear. And this is being recorded, so Ali can watch later when the connection is better.
Hi, so my question, I have an observation that our family, like my kids, respond really well on what I didn't respond before. It's like immediate reward. Now I think I understand why my son, like who is a teenager, loves like those computer games, because you get an immediate result. And while studying like math or physics, it's like maybe years, and maybe he won't even live that long to like use it later. And because it's like I don't use any rewards in my homeschooling, like the only reward we can get like that relief from like getting to a deadline. So it's like I just found out from all these activities that deadlines work like awesome. Like you have some project and you have to do it. I just discovered like this morning when we were finishing like one task with this like little one, and she just asked me, why are we doing it now? Just why do we have to do it? I just said, because it's a deadline. We just have so much time and we have to finish it. And she was like so eager and so energized, and it's like it's worked.
Now I've heard everything. A 3-year-old motivated by deadlines. Wow.
It's like just really bothers me. I wish it was some intrinsic motivation and like a desire to find beauty or something, but it's like that simple. And I'm just realized it now, so I'm thinking what we can do with that, like to move like to like better aspects of life, because deadlines, they're usually set up not even by you, because if they're by you, you just move them. I mean, I wish I could set them up myself, but it's like then nobody takes them serious. So,
Amanda, you are smiling and laughing. Do you have something like that too? Or...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Deadlines or just?
Well, just, it seems like, you make plans and you say, oh, well, we're going to do a little bit of this all the time, and then you're down to the time you have to get it done, and that's when you're like, okay, we just got to do this now, and that's when it all gets done.
Okay. So I like to think I have a framework for thinking about it, and I struggled with the same thing because I like to be, well, I like to do creative stuff, art stuff. I like explore myself. I'm like the kids. I want to go online and search for beautiful pictures and to be everything intrinsically motivating, and I want to spend, 2 hours just tweaking that problem and whatever. And then sometimes that happens, but other times it doesn't. So if you just go on that acceleration, you run out really quickly, and then you don't have things going on, right? Sophia, is that how it's happening? You have the excitement, but sometimes you don't have the excitement, and that's it.
I don't. Most of the time, I do have an excitement. My kids don't. They have something else in their mind, especially that big one. He's like, yeah, I understand, but time schedule works with him like wonders. If he knows this has to be done, and including like math subjects and everything, and it has to be done by now, and especially if he gets a reward, but usually he doesn't because I'm against rewards. At least he has that feeling that he's done. And because he has so many stuff to do, and me too, and everybody in my family, it's like it's turned out in like those like lists, like constant lists, and it's always the hottest deadline on the top, and it's like you're always late for an appointment. And never thought somebody could enjoy it, but it looks like they could. Sorry if I moved from the subject.
Well, and actually, I wanted to get your oldest, I know he does Minecraft, to maybe give some presentation for multiplication explorers about doing things in Minecraft, because he does it well, and there is a question on the forums about it. So if he can figure out how to do some of these activities in Minecraft and present a couple of weeks from now, that would be cool. But on the subject of scheduling and deadline and motivation, so I want to think of two things, okay? So the first thing is you do, find intrinsic interest in activities. You want things to make sense, to be beautiful and meaningful. But the second thing is you want some flow. It's a term from psychology. The flow is the experience of forgetting time and forgetting who you are and going with the task. And we have all experienced it one time or another. Maybe when we are in that flow, that's how it feels. You are in the flow. So, but in practice, to create flow takes time and task management. It's not as much about inspiration as it is about work practices, schedules, and logistics, and so on. So, Amanda, what you said about you had to go back and forth to the email, and that kind of broke your flow a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if that part somehow was a part of the logistics, and if we maybe spaced it out somehow so it went smoother, it would not break the flow of the activity quite as much. So you can plan an activity for little breaks where you go and do debriefing, or you so on and so forth. And then the whole activity starts feeling meaningful because it has a strong flow. So this is an example. So having a deadline is a part of time management, of course. So it is a simple part of it, and it's a simple way to create flow. We do it because there is a deadline. Okay, Zara and Ali and Sophia, you two, you managed how games have such strong management. So a game is basically, it's a device for managing time and tasks. That's what it is. Okay, it creates strong flow in it.
Yeah, it's what we are missing in real life. I was just also wondering, I have read that book Flow, but I haven't seen, or I don't remember anything about time management and just scheduling there. So how did you make that connection, like just from like being that wise? I know, you know.
Well, I make this connection through games, through game design. The book came out, the book Flow, named Flow, but by Csikszentmihalyi. He has like 15 letters in his name. So I call him Mike. Okay, so Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. So he wrote a book, it's fundamental. It came kind of before computer games. And so he talks about what flow is and how people experience, but it's not as practical as, okay, do this, do that, and get flow, right?
Yeah.
The book, unfortunately, is more descriptive than prescriptive. I mean, it talks about some things like extrinsic motivation can can break your flow, or how some tribes that live in nearby villages, one has a strong flow and another doesn't, but it doesn't quite tell you how to get there. And I think people have been using this framework a lot in design. And that's where I come to task and time management and in game design.
Oh,
From game design. Does it make sense?
yeah, thank you.
So
No.
basically, how do you get there? In my mind, it's through practices. You, for example, a deadline makes you, keep going, but so do snacks. So if you arrange a nice place for you to do mathematics, like if you make a nest, I don't know, when my kid was 3, we used to make nests when my
Yeah.
little girl was 3. And we would, we would arrange things nicely and put snacks by them. And then we would want to spend some time there just because it's already arranged nicely,
Oh, that's a good idea.
And we would put good objects there. And it's the same goes for what Ali is asking about virtual things. So a lot of games are beautiful. You go there, it's pleasant, it's arranged nicely. So that's one way to arrange flow. You make space and make it pleasant. Okay, and yes, scheduling time works. It doesn't have to be by deadline, but it helps to know, kind of get committed to it. For some reason, transitions are hard on kids. So at some point, my kid asked me, can we go somewhere outside of the house to do things? Because while we drive there, even if it's a 3-minute drive, I transition. So making a date, like somewhere at another place or with some other person, is another good way to create flow. So inviting someone.
Great ideas. Wow, thank you, Maria. It's like
So
I
if
just.
you invite someone over, you kind of are committed. Okay, we have scheduled this course, now I have to teach it. So it's a date. I get up and do it. Okay, and
Yeah.
and sometimes in the family it's hard to make dates with yourselves, right?
Yeah.
Especially if we homeschool, so it's
Yeah.
kind of we can do it now or later or maybe next
Never.
year. Right.
Tomorrow.
Right. It's like Alice it's like Through the Looking Glass. The gem is for tomorrow, and tomorrow, well, it's not tomorrow today. Okay. So these are some things that create flow, and you can be conscious about that. So for mathematics, you prepare space, time, maybe invite a person to do it with you, so it's a date. Or maybe you go somewhere, so it's a date, so you go elsewhere. And this way, it can create something. But another way to create flow, and it goes back to Amanda's question about going deeper, is when you have questions from before. And that's why I got so happy about I don't know. Because next time we meet, I'll ask you. So we have this continuity, right? We have something like, oh, I don't know, but I'd like to find out, and until next time, a cliffhanger. So some people say, stop your activity while it's still interesting. So you want to get some sort of closure. You don't want to stop mid-sentence in mathematics because otherwise you won't remember. If you just don't solve your problem, or if you kind of, if you feel like you are hanging on the precipice, don't stop. But you can have a little bit of perplexity left. Like, oh, we'll leave this for the next time. Oh, here is another video, and let us start with it next time. So you leave a bit of openness there, a bit of treat that you start with. So that's another one. And another one is routine, and it has to do with what I just said. So for example, when I said the cliffhanger of something open, like you always start with a question. Or you always start with watching a little movie. You start with something sweet. I hear in some small synagogues when 3-year-olds started to learn Hebrew to read, they would get a sweet letter, like a letter cookie to eat, so that learning would be sweet. So they would always start from eating that cookie letter for a few times. You know, they were 3-year-olds, so learning was to be sweet. So some sort of sweet beginning and healthy practices too. A lot of people don't want to do mathematics because they physically start to suffer. Like, that's why I say it's snacks. It burns a lot of calories. So, and I'm talking about these things. They're not mathematical as such, but they help us go. And they help us go deeper because they build our stamina. Does it make sense, Sophia, for what you asked?
Yeah, thank you. I got tons of ideas. Never thought about that.
Just some continuity, consistency, and routines and logistics there. I think it will help.
Yeah, thank you. We'll try again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So we can do. Did more questions come to mind as I was talking about these questions?
No, I think you had great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
The only question is if you by any chance have more, because it's like I truly don't have a full picture. I just got the ideas, but I'm more than sure that, but it's like just me. I will work and then maybe next time we'll try.
Let's continue on the forums. We can email as well. We can do email. So try things, see what happened. Okay. I had a question of my own too about the first week. And the question was, okay, we put these 5 activities together kind of with some reasons, but we didn't explain the reasons why the 5 activities are together. They're just called Inspired by Calculus. But that's not an explanation exactly, it's a name. Okay, so, hi. So, oh, Ali dropped. Ali's internet sometimes goes down. Hi.
You can't see it later unless you do it. And it shows it.
Want to see my transformer? It's sitting right here by my video.
He loves those.
You have some knockout. Okay. Hi. Okay. Yeah. I keep toys. I keep him. He works and does a very important job. He stands by my video camera, so I look at the camera. I look at the transformer's face, which is right by video camera. So, because it's very, otherwise I want to look at the screen, which is above the camera. So, he works here. Okay. Anyway. But I always like to have toys around for when kids come to the screen. Okay, so my question is, does it sort of make sense to put these activities together? And would you like some ways of connect them more explicitly than just throwing them together like that? That's the third question. So the first question, Amanda, that's the question number 3 that goes to your collection. So the first one is, okay, do we go deeper or not? The second, if we don't go deeper, maybe we explore more topics. Do we want to do that? And if not, maybe we seek connections between the topics we already explored. So that's the third option.
Well, I was kind of assuming that they were somehow connecting together, and that it didn't really matter whether I saw how they connected together. I figured you put them together for a reason, so that was probably pretty good.
How about you, Sophia?
It's all about connections. That's cool to see. It's just the biggest excitement in my life to see like pieces of puzzles put in together. So if you could like add like a bit about that, that would be awesome. I think I saw some connections, but I just didn't have my. I guess my mind is too preoccupied with my teenager who is like trying to escape into like pixels. And
Okay. So, Sophia, what topics did you look at when you saw connections? So I know you did the first one, right? Or what topics did you look at? Did you connect in your mind? Your microphone's off.
sorry, it's like fractals, like going like deeper or going like making like those trees, which I love like deeply, and like making towers. They are all about like how like fast they like by exponential, how fast they multiply, and it's like those observations that it actually doesn't matter, but what my like 3-year-old discovered even today. We were making this thing, and you can see like she discovered that you don't need like those small triangles in the corners because we didn't have time. You can just make dots because they look like dots anyway. Actually, it was from yeah, she's already looking for shortcuts, and which is like bothers me a lot.
Why? I think it's a mathematical value to do things the most efficient way, right?
Yeah, she likes to delegate too. When I was cutting like shapes out of paper, and she was like constantly saying, "I'm working too." Yeah, I'm just organizing it here. But she likes to delegate, which is like. But the answer on your question, yeah, there is like I love to see connections, and there's it's like the main like connection I saw it was all going to infinity pretty fast.
Huh. So the multiplication towers, the fractals, the zoom, everything has to do with infinity.
They all become dots at the end. It doesn't matter.
Or small infinity, big infinity, Okay. So there are several ideas that are like that. So infinity, and then the other one you said how fast things grow. And this is such a key question. It's one of the key questions of calculus, how fast things grow. And it's such a childish question. All children want to see how fast they grow, right? And so children are like preoccupied with how fast things grow. They always want to see. If you give a child, and that's what Ali said, they want to click things. If you give a child any software where you can multiply objects, when you can make new objects, the first thing they do, they click, 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 click. So there is a lot of them right away.
They have to like those objects, though. I think that what like at least my daughter likes to multiply things that she likes. She's like because she was making like those like fractals, 3 fractals, and on like those. I mean, she insisted like the least favorite guy was at the middle, and like so her most favorite one was at the like so she gradated them like there was a gradation. So that has to be like computer games. Yeah, they're pleasant. Everything is pleasant there. I'm just trying to solve that
For
thing myself.
young children, one trick is to create characters out of everything. So you can make your triangle into a character. Just draw a smiley face on it or something.
They were representing like colors of her favorite characters, so it was like
Okay.
she's doing it herself pretty well. She can play with anything.
Okay. Okay. So this is kind of but this searching connections is something I want to pose here. I want to, because this is another way to go deeper into mathematics, but also to explore, because this is kind of a hybrid, okay? When you seek for connections, it's still a scavenger hunt. You search for it. You see, oh, how does this connect to that? But you also have to look a bit deeper into each topic to see what it's really all about. So you have to find that idea like infinity, and you can find more. So that's the part that I wanted to bring up here. So between three fractals, so Amanda, you did the first two activities. So, and what do you think? Well, obviously they're both about fractals, so that's a connection we can see. What for you was similar between them, these two things? Like maybe from any point of view, artistic or parent or mathematical, anything, what was the kind of the main things that come to your mind when I ask you?
Between those two activities?
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably the main thing was the kind of like the growing up and the shrinking down. But they're really opposites, not really the same. But that was what I noticed, was that it was getting, I guess, exponential growth, but it was getting exponentially bigger or smaller.
You say they're opposite, so the tree you think is growing, which are they?
Well, the one where you were drawing, like the one that had the owls inside the eyes,
Mm-hmm.
they kept getting littler and littler,
Mm-hmm.
and more of them, but they were tiny.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's think of the owls, because we've all seen them gazillions of times because of the course logo. Okay, so could you make the owls grow bigger and bigger? Could you go the opposite direction?
Well, I guess you could, because you could start with an owl and then make that the center of the eye and then keep going the other way.
Uh-huh. Okay. Ali, we're talking about the owls, that is the substitution fractals. So Ali typed, I didn't understand. We're trying to see connections here. And so this growth and shrinking, this is a great idea. Again, it's very accessible to children, but it's very profound. And yeah, so this is kind of what you did now. In my mind, that's a big take home. And that is deeper mathematics for children. That's an example of deeper mathematics. I just wanted to ask you a mathematical question and see if it makes sense within this context. So this is an example of kind of poking them a bit with a deeper question.
Okay.
So we did a little bit of a math circle here. So this exploration, so I asked, what are the connections? And you said growth and then the opposite types of growth. And so you said that with the owls, you usually go smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what you usually do when you make them substitutions. But then I ask, well, could you? Could you go the other ways like you do with the trees? And you said, yes, we could, that's how. So you can kind of do that sort of exploration with children. That's an example of going.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it gives more questions. What I was worried about was that I needed to know more math things to say. Like, I wouldn't have considered those math questions. I would have just said those are just questions about the activity. But does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like saying, well, how many did you get to, and to the power of whatever. You know, it's been a lot of years since I did that.
A lot of people feel that mathematics is only about numbers, how many or how fast and so on. And what these discussions we just had, this little exchange, it's about patterns, right? It's about the structure, the art of it, if you will. And this is also mathematics. Well, you can think of it as geometry if it makes sense. But I mean, it's kind of a calculus, geometry, algebraic ideas. It's very visual, but it's about patterns. So any questions you ask about patterns count as mathematics.
Okay.
Okay. And then on the forum, in the topic, especially in the topic about tree fractals, because it's the first, but we'll try to get more. In the tree fractal topic, there are a lot of questions people posed. they are in that forum. So if you go on the forum again, you see about 30 questions. So you can see, and they are all more or less mathematical, but mostly all mathematical, like purely mathematical about patterns. So a lot of them have to do with, does it count if it's just 1 and 1 and 1 instead of branching it 2? Or is it still a fractal if it's 1? So things of that nature, questions about patterns.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Ali just typed a great goal to learn with kids. To learn with kids. It's great. Maybe we can next when we meet. Maybe we can share what we learned this week with our kids.
Okay.
I learned I can't count because I tried to do an activity with my kids and I forgot to add something. So we found a totally different pattern and went on this wild goose chase into something called Taylor series that has nothing to do with where we started, all because I made a mistake. And it was glorious at the end, but retrospectively, half an hour later, we realized that I made a mistake and my Ray didn't notice it. So it was something I learned, that mistakes can be very fun and productive if you chase them. Okay, but yeah, so maybe we can share next time what we learned with the kids, and we'll try to work on connections. So next time, I know Amanda and Ali, that time works, right? Sophia will be doing another group next time.
Actually, I wanted to email. May I please switch back to this time? I just realized I can make it. So
okay, excellent.
Thank you.
So you already met the people, so we'll meet next time same way. I will send you a link in the morning again.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can bring questions, email anytime, put things on the forums, and we'll just keep communicating. And is it helpful to you? Was the meeting today helpful for you?
Very.
Yeah, it's very, but I do have one more question which I didn't know when to ask. It's about like that flow. I just really, it's really like those computer games, like I'm obnoxious like with them. You can tell because I'm not playing myself and can't make my playing like more than a minute. It just seems like a waste of time to me. And I'm trying to solve that thing. And you said that you learned like a connection between flow and time management from games. So you think like playing games will eventually make you switch to real world, can teach a person to make flow in real life? Because I didn't see a single example except you in real life. Because like people just get stuck in that environment because it's simpler.
Okay, I do not think playing any particular, well, I have seen many people use tools from games, especially adults, to bring those tools to real life. I know quite a few people, for example, who make quests. People who play role-playing games, like World of Warcraft, make quests in real life. Like my quest today is to clean the bedroom, and you get rewards. So some families do it. So if the families play together. So people use the game tools, but more of that, like everything else, it's not automatic. Like mathematics is not guaranteed to be meaningful in your life. Like because Amanda said like mathematics didn't make sense to your daughter, right? What this dreadful exercises or whatever.
Right.
So whatever it is you do, games, mathematics, a job is not guaranteed to bring sense to your life and meaning and significance. You have to make it happen. So like playing a game by itself, no, it's not beneficial by itself. You have to make it count, make it make sense. So so there is a part of it where it becomes significant, and you have to make it significant. Does it make sense to you what I'm saying now,
Yeah,
Sophie?
thank you. I got it. It's just because I guess I need to invest time and play and see how it's like how sophisticated the environment is. Otherwise, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I understand. It's like because I never played it. That's why I suspect like some deeper.
But I don't know. Maybe you need to try different types of games and find the ones you like. I'm quite fond of little puzzle games too, like 2048 on the phone. Okay,
I'm
Amanda, do you
horrible
play
at games.
games?
I'm.
Do you
Yeah, I
play
guess.
games, Amanda?
What?
Do you play games? Are you a gamer?
No.
Not even
No, this
little
was the
ones?
first time I ever did anything like this, and I was worried it wasn't going to work.
Okay. Not even little puzzle games or Sudoku or anything like that?
No.
Bejeweled? Facebook games? Nothing?
No, I'm not on Facebook.
Okay. No? Okay.
No, I'm like from the wrong century. I knit, I make bread, I do pottery.
Wow. Yeah, I used to make bread. I still do sometimes.
I haven't in a while, so, I'd like to, but it's gotten too busy right now.
I got allergic to gluten, and gluten-free bread is kind of wonky, hard to make. Yeah, but anything like that, like when you make pottery, it doesn't necessarily bring meaning with itself, but you can make it meaningful, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah. I understand the concept of what you're saying without the game. It's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I wanted to say it's like art. People ask a lot of time, what is art for? It's the same exact conversation. Well, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't build bridges or send, men to Mars. So what is it for? But we make it meaningful, and it or not. Maybe we don't.
I think art is about connections in your soul, like when you go to a different, dimension and like go there and change yourself, find some connections there, and then go back to this world and like as a different person. So art is meaningful. I mean, to me, but I'm not doing art. I'm just like to enjoy.
So yeah, so there are a lot of meanings to it. So that's a very deep meaning, and for me, I'm drawing little things sometimes, doodling, and that's mostly about meditation, honestly. I don't think I'm making I'm typically don't make deep connections when I doodle. I'm meditating. I'm like go into my happy space. So a lot of kids use games because that's the only place in their life where they have a flow, where they have that feeling of okay, just doing it and so on. So if we help them take that feeling to other areas of their lives, they appreciate it.
I would really appreciate a course on it. It's just I would.
Okay.
Complete with a deadline.
Word for you. It's called gamification.
Sorry?
I will type it. And so there are gamification practices in business and in education. So there is gamification. Some of it is evil and horrible, like those gold stars and points everywhere. But some of it is meaningful and beautiful, okay? Like everything else. So, yeah. So we can do that. Okay. Thank you. Keep being wonderful. It's such a joy talking with you. You think deeply. You ask deep questions, and it's been wonderful for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you. Bye.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay.
See you.
Forums
Bye.
by email. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.